She was invisible at school, hated public speaking, and had hair she could barely tame. But one unexpected visitor changed everything, because it turns out she's the heir to a royal throne. How do you go from being nobody to ruling an entire country? This isn't just a makeover story. This is the moment an ordinary girl is forced to choose between a normal life or becoming a queen. Don't blink, because her life is about to change forever. A girl named Mia leaves her room to head to school. Her mom, Helen, asks if she feels confident about giving a speech in her class debate later that day. Mia doesn't feel ready, but her mom gives her some tips and tells her not to look at the crowd. Shortly after, Mia arrives at school. She appears to be one of the least popular students and often feels invisible. She eventually meets her best friend, Lilly, and they head to class together. After a while, the debate competition begins. A boy named Josh, who happens to be Mia's crush, impresses the crowd with his affirmative stance on the topic. Before Mia is called on stage, she starts doubting herself, but Lilly encourages her. Almost immediately, the teacher, Mr. O'Connell, calls Mia to oppose the topic. As Mia climbs the stage, she gets nervous and hears Josh's girlfriend, Lana, insulting her hair. Unfortunately, Mia can't bring herself to say anything. She suddenly feels the urge to vomit and runs out of the class while everyone laughs at her. Later that day, Mia goes to the rock gym where she works. Helen visits her there and says she heard how the debate went. Mia says she doesn't want to remember what happened, but Helen mentions she'll speak to Mr. O'Connell to straighten things out. Mia says she's not sure she'll ever be good at public speaking and jokes that she might end up becoming a mime. Just then, Helen mentions that Mia's grandmother, Clarice, called recently. Mia sounds surprised, and Helen reminds her that Clarice lives in a country called Genovia. Mia looks confused, as Clarice has never called before, and she asks what her grandmother wants. Helen says that Clarice is in town and wants to have tea with her granddaughter. Mia doesn't understand this sudden interest. As she starts her rock climbing session with Helen, she asks if Clarice was the one who made her parents get divorced. Helen explains that while Clarice didn't approve of their relationship, the decision to divorce was made by her and Mia's late father, Philippe. Mia still wonders why she has to meet a woman who barely kept in touch, but Helen encourages her to go, saying Clarice is her dad's mom. She adds that Clarice told her Philippe always hoped Mia would meet his mother one day. Following this, Mia agrees to meet Clarice and hear what she has to say. The next day during music class, Lilly asks Mia if she can help her with something after school. Mia says she can't, because she has a meeting with her grandmother. Later that day, Mia heads to Clarice's address and uses the intercom beside the gate to inform security that she's there to see her grandmother. After she's allowed to enter, Mia walks into a building where a man at the entrance checks her bag. She's then told to sit in the lobby to wait for Clarice. As Mia wonders where she is, a woman named Charlotte from the Genovian attaché corps comes over to greet her. Mia asks where they are, and Charlotte tells her she's at the Genovian consulate. As Charlotte tells Mia that her grandmother will be with her shortly, Clarice enters, and the guards in the room immediately stand from their seats. Clarice warmly says it's nice to see that Mia came to visit. Mia compliments her lovely house, and Clarice instructs Charlotte to prepare tea in the garden. Mia asks what Clarice wants to talk about, but before getting to the point, Clarice gives her a locket with a Genovian crest. Mia thanks her for the gift, and Clarice tells her to keep it safe, as it means a great deal to her. They head to the garden, and Clarice reveals that Mia's father, Philippe, was the Prince of Genovia. Mia thinks it's a joke, but Clarice assures her she's serious. She then adds that since Philippe is dead, Mia is now the heir to the Genovian throne. She is the Princess of Genovia. Mia is shocked and can't believe what she's hearing, but Clarice insists she's a royal by blood and can rule Genovia. Clarice talks about how Mia will need to move to Genovia and learn how to be a princess. Mia, overwhelmed, says she doesn't want any of it and runs away from the table. Clarice looks disappointed, but her head of security, Joe, tells her that Mia probably needs more time. Clarice then tells Joe to stay close to Mia and be her driver. Even though Joe seems reluctant, he agrees. When Mia gets home, she complains to Helen and asks why she never told her about her father's royal background. Helen says it was to protect everyone, but Mia doesn't understand. Helen then explains that it was one of the reasons she and Philippe got divorced, because she didn't see herself becoming a queen whose only job would be to follow the king around. She adds that after the divorce, she, Clarice, and Philippe agreed to keep Mia far away from the royal family's affairs until she turned 18. She then mentions that things changed after Philippe's death. Mia still feels Helen should have told her something. She says that people will only see her as a freak with a tiara. Miss Thermopolis? Helen doesn't know what else to say and quietly leaves Mia's room. The next morning, Clarice shows up at the house in a limo. While talking to Helen, Clarice says that Philippe was ready to be king until he died in the accident. She then mentions that if Mia refuses to become a princess, Genovia will cease to exist as they know it. Helen can't believe the future of an entire country rests in the hands of her 15-year-old daughter. But Clarice insists she can't wait until Mia turns 18 to begin her training. Just then, Mia comes downstairs but, upon seeing Clarice, immediately says she's going back to bed. Before she can leave, Helen stops her and says the three of them need to talk. Mia replies that she has nothing to say, but Helen urges her to at least listen to her grandmother. At that moment, Clarice mentions that she's hoping to introduce Mia to the press and the public at Genovia's annual Independence Day ball. Here it is, she adds. Mia still doesn't sound interested in becoming a princess and heads back to her room. Helen and Clarice follow her, trying to change her mind. But Mia climbs into the ceiling and insists she has better things to do. As Clarice says she has a meeting to attend, Helen offers a compromise. She's okay with Mia taking princess lessons, as long as Mia won't have to decide whether to accept or reject the crown until the ball. Mia seems pleased with this arrangement, and Clarice agrees, on the condition that they keep it a secret from the public and the press for now. As they leave the house together, Mia tells Clarice about the Mustang Helen is getting her for her 16th birthday. Clarice scoffs and says it's not a sensible car for a princess. Mia also complains that the car doesn't even move fast. "I'm not really hungry," she says, changing the subject. Clarice then introduces Mia to Joe, who will be her driver from now on. Mia is amazed when she sees the limo and asks Joe if he can remove the flags on the front. Joe replies that he can't. The flags allow him to park anywhere. Later, they arrive at Lily's house. Lily is stunned to see Mia step out of a limo. "Are we going to a wedding or something?" she asks. Mia says it's just a surprise ride. As they get into the limo together, Lily bombards her with questions. Mia casually says her long-lost grandmother showed up and wants her to use the limo. On the way to school, Mia asks Joe to park a block away so she doesn't attract unnecessary attention. Later that day at school, as Mia heads to the field for baseball practice, Lana and her friends make fun of her about how she ran out during the debate. "Are you really speaking at bulimic conventions now?" one of them sneers. Mia, clearly embarrassed, just walks away. During baseball practice, she struggles to perform and ends up accidentally throwing the ball at the coach. After school, Lily tells Mia she has a dinner date with her dad, even though they barely have anything to talk about. Mia says at least she still has a dad. Lily asks if she still hasn't gotten over Philippe. Mia says, "He's still my dad." But Lily argues that he was never there for her. All he ever did was send you presents and birthday cards for 15 years. He never even showed up. Mia replies that the presents were nice, and that Philippe also paid for her school tuition. They eventually stop talking about their dads, and Mia says she has to go meet Lily's brother, Michael, about her Mustang. Shortly after, Mia arrives at a mechanic workshop where Michael is practicing with his band. She then goes to speak with the owner of the workshop, Dr. Motors, to ask about her Mustang. Dr. Motors tells her it will cost $400 to get it fixed, and Mia looks shocked. Michael then offers to do some free labor to help reduce the cost. Mia thanks him but says he doesn't have to worry. She'll talk to her grandmother about it. After she leaves, Dr. Motors teases Michael for working for free just because he has a crush on Mia. Yes. Excuse me, Michael replies awkwardly. The next day, Mia begins attending princess lessons at the Genovian consulate. Despite her busy schedule, Clarice makes time to personally teach her how to walk and sit like a princess.
So we don't slump like knees.
Joe also teaches Mia how to dance. As a result, Mia starts spending less time with Lily, who begins to wonder why Mia keeps visiting her grandmother every day. Much later, Clarice hires a hairstylist named Paolo to give Mia a makeover. After he finishes, Mia looks completely transformed, and Paolo beams with pride at his work.
I love your eyebrows. You know a big secret?
Tell me.
The cucumber?
Yes.
Clarice also admires Mia's new look and says her granddaughter looks much better. Charlotte, watch him like a hawk, she adds quietly. The next day, Mia's limo arrives at Lily's house, and Michael decides to join the girls for their ride to school. As he opens the door and sees Mia, he looks stunned. Lily also sees her friend, but reacts very differently from her brother. "Who destroyed you?" she asks. "Is it that bad?" Mia responds. "You look ridiculous," Lily says bluntly. Michael still thinks Mia looks beautiful. As they get into the limo, Lily notices Mia's expensive new bag and criticizes her for spending money on something so extravagant when it could have been used for more practical things. Mia becomes upset, and as she sheds a tear, Joe notices through the rearview mirror. After dropping them off at school, Joe gently tells Mia that he saw her crying. "I'm fine," Mia insists. Joe responds, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." As Mia walks to school, she puts on a hat to hide her hair, but Lily complains again. Mia finally snaps, saying that just because Lily doesn't like her hair doesn't mean she has to insult hers. Michael seems to enjoy this little pushback from Mia, but when Lily complains that he's always siding with Mia, he walks away. Lily then confronts Mia about her attitude. Mia explains that she's just tired of being scolded. From her mom, her grandmother, and now Lily. "Better, much better," Mia mutters sarcastically. Lily insists that she knows Mia is hiding something, and says it doesn't feel like they're friends anymore. She threatens to throw away their friendship charm. That's when Mia stops her and confesses that she's a princess. Lily is stunned, but quickly becomes excited for her friend. She asks if Mia can appear on her cable show, but Mia says she can't tell anyone about her royal identity yet. Lily promises to keep the secret, and the two head to school together. In class, Lana complains to Mr. O'Connell that Mia's hat violates school rules. He agrees and asks Mia to remove it. When she does, the whole class is shocked by her transformation. Lana and her friends try to mock her, but Lily defends Mia, saying she loves her friend's new look. Later that day, Mia returns to the consulate where Clarice teaches her how to speak in public and wave to the crowd while they ride in a car. The next day, as Mia walks to school with Michael, he invites her to come watch his band rehearse on Saturday. Mia asks if he's asking her on a date, but he awkwardly denies it, even though that's exactly what he meant. Mia agrees to come, and soon Lily joins them on their walk. When they arrive near the school, they notice several press photographers gathered at the front gates. Confused, they wonder what's going on. As they get closer, one of the photographers says they're there for the princess. Mia is stunned and immediately asks Lily if she told anyone. "I didn't," Lily insists. Teachers quickly rush Mia into the school building. She's taken to see Vice Principal Gupta, who shows her a newspaper article revealing her identity as the Princess of Genovia. Mia is shocked, but Gupta tells her that her mother is already on the way. "This is more fun than princess lessons," Gupta says dryly. Shortly after, Clarice arrives at the school with Joe, and they head straight to Gupta's office where Helen and Mia are waiting. Clarice declares they'll figure out who leaked the story. Moments later, Joe enters the room with Paolo, who confesses that he told someone in the press about Mia's makeover because he wanted the world to see his work. Clarice sternly orders Joe to take Paolo away. Helen expresses frustration, saying that just days ago, Mia was a normal girl. "She was never a normal girl," Clarice responds. "She was born a royal." She adds that the royal family deals with the press constantly, and now, so will Mia. Helen reassures Mia that she doesn't have to accept the title if she doesn't want to, and Clarice agrees. Mia says she'll think about it and let them know her decision later. Sometime later, Lily tells Mia that she's now the most popular girl in school and everyone wants to be her best friend. She also says she has several reasons why Mia shouldn't become a princess, but Mia says she doesn't want to talk about it. Still, Lily asks if Mia will appear on her cable show Saturday night, and Mia says yes. Lily thanks her and leaves Mia alone with Joe. As Mia thinks about her future, she asks Joe if she can just reject the title. "You can reject the job," Joe says, "but you'll always be a princess." Mia then asks how she'll know if she's meant to be one. "You won't," Joe answers. "Not unless you try." He then mentions that there's an upcoming formal dinner, and Clarice believes Mia will be ready to attend. Days later, Mia attends the fancy dinner and meets Genovia's Prime Minister, Motaz, and his family. A baron named Siegfried is also in attendance with his wife. It turns out he's hoping Mia will reject her title, so he can claim the throne of Genovia himself, since Clarice has no other heir. During the dinner, Mia makes several mistakes and even ends up tripping someone. Clarice initially looks disappointed, but when someone at the table starts laughing about it, she joins in, followed by the rest of the guests. Despite this, Mia still feels embarrassed, and when she gets home, she looks at a picture of her dad and quietly says she's sorry for letting him down. The next day, Mia meets Clarice and nervously asks if she's angry about what happened. Clarice gently replies that she's not upset at all. In fact, she found it funny. She even shares that she once had her own embarrassing moment at her first royal dinner party. Still, Mia seems down, clearly disappointed in herself. Noticing this, Clarice suggests they skip the usual princess lessons and spend the entire day having fun. Mia looks surprised. "Don't you have important royal things to do?" she asks. "I've canceled them," Clarice replies. "I want my granddaughter to show me around the city." Mia smiles and suggests taking the Mustang instead of the limo. Clarice agrees, and the two set off for a day of bonding and sightseeing. At one point, they stop for a break. "Come on, you can do it, Grandma," Mia teases, helping Clarice climb a step. As they sit together, Mia asks if her dad always wanted to be a prince. Clarice says he did, but there was a time he reconsidered after falling in love with Helen. Mia asks why he didn't give it up. Clarice explains that Philippe realized how deeply he loved his country and its people. Later, as they drive through the city, Mia struggles to get the Mustang up a steep hill and ends up hitting a bus. The bus driver calls the police, and a cop says Mia will have to go to the station for driving without a license. Before he can take her away, Clarice steps in and uses her status as queen to get Mia released. Mia, relieved and grateful, looks at Clarice and says, "You're a really cool queen. Say goodbye," she grins. "That's a queen." The next day at school, Mia is greeted by a group of kids asking for her autograph. Meanwhile, Lana is being interviewed by a reporter, pretending to be Mia's close friend. Later, Josh approaches Mia and tells her he's broken up with Lana. He asks Mia to be his date for a beach party on Saturday. Still having a crush on him, Mia agrees. She then goes to tell Michael that she can't make it to the workshop that weekend. Michael, clearly hurt, tries to hide his disappointment and tells her it's okay. On Saturday, Mia gets ready for the party and tells her mom how excited she is to go out with Josh. Helen is skeptical. "I thought you said he was never nice to you," she says. Mia insists he's changed, though Helen still has doubts. Later, at the beach, Mia and Josh hang out, until a reporter spots them. They quickly run off to hide. "He's so wonderful, thank you," Mia says, caught up in the moment. Meanwhile, Lilly is hosting her cable show and waiting for Mia, who never arrives. After a while, Lilly wraps up the show and tells the audience that Mia probably had a good reason for missing it. Back at the beach, Mia and Josh wait until nightfall before deciding to leave their hiding spot. However, by then, even more reporters have gathered outside. Josh suddenly tries to take advantage of the situation by getting cozy with Mia, so that people will assume they're dating. Disgusted, Mia hits him and runs off. Before she can leave, Lana and her friends humiliate her further by calling photographers over while Mia is changing clothes. Embarrassed and overwhelmed, Mia rushes home in tears. The next day, photos from the beach party are plastered across newspapers. Clarice is disappointed and scolds Mia for tarnishing the royal family's reputation. "I hope you get your first real foot-popping kiss," she says bitterly. Feeling ashamed, Mia decides to reject her role as princess. Clarice supports the decision, calling it a wise choice. Mia, disheartened, asks if she still has to attend the ball. "You're free to come as a guest," Clarice replies. After Mia leaves the consulate, Joe tells Clarice she may have been too harsh. Clarice insists Mia didn't act like a princess. Joe disagrees, saying Mia is still very young, and adds that she showed humility and accepted her mistakes with grace. Clarice asks, "Do you think she can become a good princess?" Joe smiles, "I do." The next day at school, Mia goes to apologize to Lilly for missing the show. Lilly is furious, not just because Mia skipped the show, but because she also hurt Michael. "I'm really sorry," Mia says. But Lilly isn't ready to forgive her just yet. "You ditched your best friend, and you broke my brother's heart." Mia then tells Lilly that she got her wish. She's not going to be a princess anymore. "Do you think you can really do it?" Lilly asks, shocked. Surprisingly, she adds that she wants Mia to be a princess. She recently realized that Mia's position is more than a title. It's a miracle, a chance to make real change in the world and reach people in ways most never could. Mia says they'll have to look for another miracle, but still invites Lilly to Genovia's Independence Day ball. Although Lilly pretends not to care at first, she forgives Mia and starts excitedly talking about what she'll wear. Later that day during baseball practice, Mia finally gets fed up with Josh mocking her, so she hits him with the ball. Much later, Michael brings her repaired Mustang to the house after Dr. Motors finishes fixing it. Mia uses the opportunity to apologize and invites Michael to the ball. But Michael, still hurt, asks why she wants him to come instead of Josh. "Because I want to share the moment with you," Mia says. Michael, still guarded, replies, "I'm not interested." This leaves Mia heartbroken. "Josh looks better in a tux anyway," Michael says sarcastically. The next day at school, Lana mocks Mia when she sits with Jeremiah. Mia stands up to her and deliberately spills ice cream on Lana's cheerleading outfit. Lana looks stunned and disgusted, but Mia walks away, unfazed. Later at home, Clarice visits and gives Mia a diary that her father, Philippe, had planned to give her for her 16th birthday. Mia notices the diary is locked, and Clarice explains that the locket with the Genovian crest is the key. Clarice then admits that even though she was harsh the other day, she believes Mia would make a fine princess. Mia is surprised but says she can't accept the role. She doesn't want to disappoint her grandmother again. Clarice assures her that she still believes in her, but Mia says nothing. Before leaving, Clarice tells Mia to come to the ball and formally renounce her title in front of the press. "I don't do well with speeches," Mia says. Clarice smiles gently. "You'll be fine." She mentions that Joe will pick her up, but Mia says Helen will take her instead. "I'm sorry," Mia quietly adds. After Clarice leaves, Mia unlocks the diary and opens it. A letter falls out, but she doesn't notice it right away because her cat is sitting on it. As she begins packing to leave, feeling like she can never live up to royal expectations, she finally spots the letter. It's from her dad. In the letter, Philippe tells Mia to be courageous and brave, not to be overly cautious in life. He shares that he loved Helen deeply and still thought of her often. The words touch Mia deeply. She wipes her tears, gathers her things, and rushes outside to drive her Mustang to the ball, in the rain. Meanwhile, at the consulate, Charlotte asks Joe if he's going to pick Mia up. Joe says Helen is supposed to bring her, but Charlotte tells him Helen is already there, and she said Mia was waiting for him. Joe immediately realizes what's happening. Mia lied. She's running away. He rushes to Mia's house, and the neighbor points him in the direction she went. On the road, Mia's Mustang breaks down. Just as she begins to lose hope, Joe arrives in the limo. Without hesitation, Mia jumps in, and they race toward the consulate. Back at the ball, Clarice prepares to make the announcement that Mia will renounce her title. Baron Siegfried and his wife are already there, clearly hoping to take over Genovia if Mia steps aside. Just as Clarice is about to speak, Mia arrives and signals that she wants to make the announcement herself. Clarice introduces her to the guests, and Mia steps forward. With newfound confidence, she says she's no longer afraid of public speaking. Her father helped her through it. She then proudly accepts her title as Princess of Genovia. Clarice beams with pride. Baron Siegfried, clearly disappointed, has no choice but to sit down. Clarice presents Mia with her very first tiara, and Mia is stunned. "How did you know I'd come?" she asks. Clarice replies, "Because your spirit reminds me of myself when I was your age. I just knew you'd change your mind." Later, Paolo arrives and gives Mia another stunning makeover. When she enters the ballroom, she dances with several guests, while Motaz dances with Clarice. Mia keeps glancing around, hoping Michael will show up. Finally, she sees him. He smiles, steps forward, and joins her on the dance floor. Mia lights up. That night, Mia truly enjoys herself. And the next day, she joins Clarice on a plane to Genovia. After living a normal life for 15 years, Mia Thermopolis learned that she was the heir to the throne of Genovia. At first, she feared the responsibility and tried to run away from it. But after realizing the power she had to make a difference, Mia stepped up to claim her destiny and became the Princess of Genovia. If you enjoyed this story of transformation and royalty, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Comment below, what would you do if you suddenly found out you're a royal? And make sure to subscribe to Random Recaps for more amazing movie recaps every week. Thanks for watching. And remember, sometimes the most ordinary people have the most extraordinary destinies.